Ethan Hayes died on his 17th wedding anniversary. As he lay comatose in the ICU, he heard his wife and son talking just outside the door. "Miss Caldwell, after Mr. Hayes's arrangements are settled, will you be rekindling things with Mr. Vance? You've loved him quietly for so many years. You even sponsored his music studies in Vienna because his family had no money, and he stayed single all this time just for you." Serena Caldwell didn't answer, but their son Leo spoke with conviction. "Mom, I support you. Go find your own happiness. Julian is the one you really love. You've already missed out on most of your lives together. Once Dad is gone, you'll have fulfilled your responsibility. It's time to think about yourself." No one noticed the single tear that slid from Ethan's eye inside the hospital room just as the heart monitor flatlined. Only at the moment of his death did he finally understand, Serena's heart had always belonged to another man. That was why she had been so cold to him for an entire lifetime. When he woke up, he was back in the 4th year of his marriage to Serena. He had a mischievous, adorable son. The family business was a titan of industry in New York, a commercial behemoth so powerful that even the mayor would raise a glass to him at charity galas. He had everything. But this time, on the very day Julian Vance's flight from Vienna landed, Ethan was the one to hand him a set of divorce papers. Julian stared at the bold letters on the document, stunned. "You want to divorce Serena? And you're walking away with nothing? Not even your son?" Ethan nodded calmly. "I don't want Serena either. She's all yours. Just get her to sign these and it's effective immediately." Julian scoffed. "What kind of act is this? You've only been married to Serena for a few years, and you've already tried to kill yourself 3 times. Slash your wrists once, sleeping pills, a fake suicide jump, and now you're trying to use me as a pawn." Ethan shook his head. He had already tasted the full measure of that humiliation and neglect. In this life, he wouldn't be a fool for her again. "I'm serious," he said. "No regrets." Julian's phone rang. He put it on speaker without any hesitation. "Julian, have you landed? I'm waiting outside the terminal. I had your favorite Wagyu steak and some bluefin tuna flown in. A welcome home dinner tonight." Ethan recognized the soft melodic voice. Serena had never spoken to him that way. She couldn't even remember his favorite foods. Julian laughed warmly. "Serena, has it really been 3 years? I'm amazed you still remember what I like. 3 years without you feels like an eternity, Julian. My heart and my mind are full of you." In that instant, Ethan felt his heart clench. So she wasn't naturally cold, she could conjure such moving words of love with ease. In his previous life, they were married for 17 years, and Serena rarely ever came home. The city's elite all whispered the same story. Ethan Hayes was obsessively in love with Serena Caldwell. He drugged and seduced her, getting her pregnant out of wedlock to force her into a marriage where he became the dependent spouse, the man who married into the Caldwell dynasty. Serena despised him for it. But everyone forgot that he was the one who stood by her for 20 years, from the time she was a downed illegitimate daughter to her ascent as a queen of the corporate world. He had even leveraged his own multi-billion-dollar fortune to lift her up. Then the one that got away, her first love, Julian Vance, returned from Europe, citing guilt and regret. She repeatedly left Ethan to see him. Even their son Leo preferred Julian. "Dad's so boring and stiff. He never smiles. Uncle Julian is so handsome. It's not embarrassing for Mom to be seen with him." What they didn't know was that by then, Ethan was already suffering from severe depression. At their 10th anniversary dinner, a reporter asked Serena what the proudest, most regret-free moment of her life was. She paused, then said, "My proudest moment was sending the greatest love of my life to pursue his highest artistic dream." The world laughed at Ethan Hayes, calling him the pathetic dog who had stolen another man's place. Later, from years of suppression and melancholy, Ethan was diagnosed with cancer. Back in the present, Julian hung up the phone, a smirk playing on his lips. You hear that? It's pointless. No matter what you do, you can't force a woman who doesn't love you to stay. Of course, I can get Serena to sign this, as long as you don't back out. Standing in the wind at the private airfield, Ethan watched as Serena and Leo got out of their car. She opened the trunk, filled to the brim with white mountain roses. Julian lifted Serena into his arms and spun her around. The three of them were laughing, looking for all the world like a perfect happy family. A dull ache pulsed in his chest. He called Serena. Serena, where are you? Are you coming home for dinner? Her voice was as cold as ever. I'm taking Leo to the office for dinner. I won't be back tonight. The line went dead. Ethan was left with nothing but the sound of his own bitter, self-mocking laugh. This time, he refused to waste his life on a woman who didn't love him. If they both loved Julian Vance so much, he would give them what they wanted. Having made his decision, Ethan slept until noon the next day. Before the strict rules of the Caldwell household, for a man who'd married in and was expected to wake up early every day to cook for his wife and son, he hadn't missed a single day in 17 years. Serena always complained that he lacked ambition, that he let himself go. She never knew that for him, already drowning in depression, even those simple tasks took every ounce of strength he had. He glanced at the time on the smart locks log. Serena and Leo had been out with Julian until 12:30 a.m. before coming home. When Serena saw him emerge from his room, she frowned. What's wrong with you? Yesterday you didn't pick up Leo from preschool, and today you haven't even made breakfast. Ethan countered. Where did you take Leo last night? A friend told me they saw you with Julian Vance. A flicker of embarrassment crossed her face. Why are you so nosy? I just gave Julian a ride from the airport. He just got back to the country. He has no family or friends here. Nothing set up for him yet. She just smiled faintly. Was it just a ride or was it a carefully planned welcome? You know the truth. Unexpectedly, it was as if he'd struck a nerve. Serena shot him a venomous glare. You know exactly how you trapped me into getting pregnant. How you stole Julian's place. I feel nothing but guilt for what happened to him, and all I want to do is make it up to him. What more do you want? A chill settled in Ethan's heart. It was true that back then he had been desperately in love with Serena. He'd even swallowed his pride as a scion of a wealthy family to confess his feelings multiple times. The night she was drugged by a business rival, he was the one who helped her. But for all these years, it had been twisted into a story of him intentionally seducing her, a grudge Serena held tightly. Serena, you investigated what happened back then, didn't you? You know it was a setup by your rivals at Sterling Corporation. But all these years, you've pinned it on me, made me endure every kind of humiliation. He spoke each word deliberately. Serena was stunned by his confrontation. In her mind, Ethan loved her to the point of madness, he would never defy her. What was wrong with him today? Just then, Leo ran out of his room crying. Bad daddy. You promised you'd make me French toast and creme brulee today, but you didn't make anything. You don't keep your promises. You're not as good as Uncle Julian. You're bad. I hate you. Mommy, why can't we live with Uncle Julian? Ethan looked down at the son he had raised with his own hands since birth. A son whose heart and eyes were now filled with another man. So, from such a young age, he was just like his mother, only fond of Julian Vance. If you like Uncle Julian so much, then go find him. Ethan crouched down and gently stroked Leo's head. Daddy isn't going to look after you anymore. You can do whatever you want. As he spoke, he took a step back, avoiding the small fist Leo was swinging at him. Serena stared at him, enraged. What is wrong with you today? You're not acting like a father at all. Her assistant called. Miss Caldwell, all the onboarding paperwork from Mr. Vance is complete. The tension in Serena's brow softened. Got it. I'm on my way to the office. She took Leo's hand and left without a backward glance, not even sparing him a final look. Ethan remembered his past life. In the 4th year of their marriage, the same year Julian Vance joined her company, Caldwell Corporation faced a crisis due to a financial breach. He had used the entire massive inheritance from his maternal grandfather to plug the hole in the company's capital chain. This time, he wouldn't make such a pointless sacrifice. He was done being Serena Caldwell's lapdog. After Serena left, Ethan gathered all of his belongings in the house. If he was going to disappear, he would do it completely, leaving no trace for the mother and son. The anniversary gifts Serena had given him, designer watches, bags, were all sent to a high-end consignment shop. The little teddy bear he'd bought for Leo, which had been crammed at the bottom of a toy box for years, was also packed away. When Leo was little, he had used that bear to soothe him to sleep, whispering, "Leo, go to sleep. Don't be afraid. Look, the bear will stay with you in place of Mommy and Daddy." Now it was covered in dust. In its place on the nightstand was a Lego set from Julian. He packed it all up and sent it to an incinerator, letting the years of replaced affection and forgotten feelings turn to ash along with it. After he finished, he got a call from the trust in Paris. "Mr. Hayes, are you confirming your intent to inherit the entirety of Mr. Chenoweth's estate? It will become effective and merge with your accounts in 7 days." "I confirm." Hanging up, Ethan glanced at the now empty closets and packed his remaining luggage. He decided to move out today to make room for Serena and Julian Vance. Just as he finished packing, a message from Julian Vance arrived. "I found a way to get Serena to sign your divorce papers. Come pick them up at a diamond suite." When Ethan arrived outside the private suite, he didn't push the door open. It was left slightly ajar as if on purpose. Inside, a game of truth or dare was in full swing. "Serena, you and Julian have been apart for so many years, are you still in love with him? Now that you've brought him into the company, are you planning a little office romance? Come on, tell us, we're all waiting. If you can't say it." The woman speaking deliberately drew out her words, then grabbed an unopened bottle of Johnny Walker Blue Label and slammed it on the table in front of Serena. "You drink this." Cheers erupted. Julian laughed and intervened. "Hey, don't put Serena on the spot. I'll drink for her." He picked up the bottle of scotch and was about to tip it back when Serena snatched it from his hand, her expression firm. "Put it down." Her voice left no room for argument. "You were on antibiotics before your flight back. You can't drink." "I'll do it." A soft, tender look appeared on Julian's face. "Serena." As she downed the entire bottle, the room filled with gasps and whistles. After she finished, a faint blush spread across her pale neck. Ethan watched it all, feeling nothing. Serena had developed chronic stomach problems from years of business dinners. He was the one who had cooked her a special soothing herbal tea day in and day out for a decade, carefully nursing her back to health. But none of that mattered when it came to protecting the man she loved. He had never cared about her past. But it was clear now that she had never let it go. There had never been a single moment when her heart was clean and completely his. He took the divorce papers from a waiter who brought them out. Serena's signature was already on them. He understood then that this was a well-orchestrated play by Julian. When he returned to that cold, empty home, Ethan was dragging out his last suitcase. Serena came back reeking of alcohol. She fumbled for the glass of water and downed the stomach medication he had prepared for her. She stepped into the bedroom and froze, completely empty closets and shelves. Even the door to their son's room was open, revealing a bed that was unnaturally neat. Serena's eyes widened in shock. She strode forward and seized his wrist. Ethan, I gave Julian a ride home and now you're going to pull this stunt and move out? The sharp pain in his wrist made Ethan suck in a breath. He coldly pulled his hand away and looked at her. It seems Serena still didn't know she had unknowingly signed the divorce papers. Better this way, less drama. Ethan gave a slight laugh. You have your lover and you're not afraid to acknowledge his position in public. So what does that make me? Serena Caldwell. Starting today, I'm done waiting on you and your son. Serena suddenly sneered, as if she saw right through him. What is this? Another one of your pathetic games to get my attention? Jumping off buildings, overdosing, wasn't that enough? Have I been spoiling you all these years? Since you don't want to be the husband who married in, I'll grant your wish. Starting tomorrow, I'm moving Julian in. This place should have been his from the start. Every word was a poisoned needle stabbing into his heart. In his past life, after they married, he had realized how cold she was. The pain drove him to slash his wrists, a desperate attempt to numb the depression inside him. But she had only watched with indifference. Only now did he understand, for a woman who doesn't love you, no matter how much you suffer, the only person you hurt is yourself. At that moment, Leo, who had just been brought home by the nanny, clapped his hands with joy. Yay! Mommy's bringing Uncle Julian to live with us. I love Uncle Julian the most. I keep the Legos he gave me on my nightstand. I need to get a present for him too. Ethan said nothing. He resolutely pushed the door open and left without a hint of hesitation. Serena, Leo, don't worry. From now on, I will never be in your way again. The next day, Serena personally drove over to pick up Julian Vance. Leo seemed particularly excited, hugging Julian's waist tightly. Mommy, is Uncle Julian going to be my new daddy? Julian smiled and tweaked the boy's nose. Leo, you want me to be your dad that much? Well, that's up to your mother. He feigned concern. Did you and Ethan argue again? I hope nothing bad happens. He's just throwing another tantrum, Serena said with a frown. When he's done, he'll come back on his own. She didn't know why, but even though she was sure Ethan was just being unreasonable again, a strange sense of unease crept into her heart. Even if she didn't love him, the position of her husband, of Leo's father, seemed to belong only to him. Starting today, Uncle Julian will be staying with us for a while to help take care of you. As soon as the words were out, Leo joyfully threw himself into Julian's arms and planted a loud kiss on his cheek. Uncle Julian, you're 100 times better than my dad. I want to make sure you become my real daddy. The three of them entered the penthouse laughing and talking. At the same time, Ethan arrived at the Caldwell Corp headquarters. As a finance MBA from the University of Pennsylvania, he had been running the company's operations for Serena pro bono, basically for free. Today, he was here to finalize his handover and settle his long-overdue salary with the finance department. Coming out of his office, he saw the driver dropping off Serena, Leo, and Julian downstairs. Serena's hand rested lightly on Julian's arm, while Leo's small hand clutched the hem of Julian's coat. They walked with total confidence, their laughter echoing through the hallway like they owned the place. Daddy. Mommy said you'll read me a bedtime story every night from now on. You're so much better at it than my old dad. Serena didn't correct him. She just told the driver to take him to school. Be good, Leo. Listen to your teacher at preschool today. Then she and Julian walked into the building arm in arm, like the whole world didn't exist except them. Their eyes met Ethan's. The air froze. Julian immediately, tactfully pulled his arm away. Ethan, what are you doing here today? I heard you weren't feeling well and took a few days off. Seeing the box in Ethan's hands, Julian, holding a cup of coffee, moved closer. As he passed, he suddenly stumbled. Ah. The hot coffee splashed all over his own hand, and the porcelain cup shattered loudly on the marble floor. Serena yanked Julian behind her violently, eyes sharp like daggers aimed at Ethan. "Are you insane? Did you just stick your foot out to trip him?" Ethan stood there frozen. Before he could even speak, Julian shook his head with a sigh. "Don't blame him, it was my fault. I wasn't holding it steady." Ethan tried to explain. Serena's voice cut through sharp and clear, and the entire office floor held its breath. Ethan stared at her. It was so clumsy, so obvious. Did she really not see it? Or did she just refuse to? She only believed what she wanted to believe. "Serena," Ethan said coldly, voice laced with ice, "look closely. I'm at least 3 steps away from him." "Excuses." Serena let out a cold laugh in front of everyone. "For days you've ignored Leo, and now you don't even have the decency to be civil?" She took off her blazer like she was trying to cool down her rage. "Julian is only staying with us temporarily to help with Leo. Do you have to make such a public scene? Help with Leo?" Ethan scoffed, eyes shifting to Julian. "By teaching him to call my wife's lover Dad?" A murmur spread through the employees. "Miss Caldwell is so good to Mr. Vance, even better than her own husband." "What do you know? A woman like Miss Caldwell always wants something new and exciting. The real husband is losing badly, this is painful to watch." Just then, Julian pushed Serena aside and bent down, biting his lip, picking up the broken porcelain. "Serena, don't blame Ethan, it's all my fault." In the next second, slap. Serena slapped Ethan hard across the face. "When are you going to stop this madness?" The sting exploded across Ethan's cheek. Instinctively, his hand pressed down onto the shards on the floor. Blood dripped onto his severance papers, blooming into a dark red stain. Ethan slowly bent down, picked up the blood-stained document, and in the dead silence straightened up. "Serena," he said with a cold smile, "you know what? Just watching you from upstairs, the 3 of you look more like a family than I ever did with you." Serena frowned like he'd lost his mind. "Are you crazy? Do you even hear yourself?" A colleague stepped in to de-escalate, taking Ethan and Julian to a nearby empty office to clean up. The moment the door closed, Julian sneered. "I thought Serena would at least respect your marriage, trust you a little. Didn't realize it was this fragile." "Give it up, Ethan. You can't compete with me." Ethan stayed calm, expression unreadable. "Serena and I are already divorced. Everything you want will soon be yours," he thought silently. And when Caldwell Corp hits the edge of bankruptcy because of Julian's incompetence, will he still follow Serena like a loyal dog? He almost looked forward to it. Julian didn't expect his calm reaction. "Ethan, you'll soon realize how pathetic your little attempts are. I'll make you walk away on your own so I can take your place." "Yeah?" Ethan nodded slightly. "Fine. I'll be waiting." Julian had no idea, Ethan's heart was already dead toward Serena. What Julian saw as a rivalry, Ethan saw as the final useless act of a play that had already ended. That night, Ethan lay in a rented apartment and slept peacefully for the first time in years. He dreamed. He dreamed of meeting Serena for the first time. College orientation day. She stood on the podium as the freshman representative, white shirt fluttering in the wind, full of youthful energy. He sat in the back row, watching sunlight catch the ends of her hair as she lifted her head. For a moment, the scorching September heat went silent. He didn't know then that this single moment would root itself in his heart for over a decade. Later, when he entered international prep school, he heard she was dating the most popular guy, Julian Vance. So he buried his feelings quietly. Then fate twisted again. They ended up married. He thought his years of silent love had finally come true. But instead, It became the start of a lifelong tragedy. Knock knock. Reality shattered. Serena's bodyguards kicked the door open. She stormed in, grabbed his collar, eyes full of ice. Julian tried to kill himself last night. He slit his wrists. What did you say to him? Ethan froze. He never imagined Julian would go this far just to frame him. In the hospital room, Julian leaned against the headboard, wrist wrapped in thick gauze, face pale, but smiling. Serena. Ethan told me people like me should just die. So I had to prove him right. His voice was disturbingly calm. Maybe it would be better if I just disappeared. Ethan met Serena's eyes, cold, sharp, full of murderous intent. The same way you trapped me in this marriage, now you're torturing an innocent person. Ethan, you make me sick. I'll make you pay for hurting Julian. Her lips parted like she wanted to say more, but a doctor called her away. Now only Ethan and Julian remained. Julian dropped the act instantly, smirking. See that? That's how worried she is about me. And when you overdosed and cut yourself, she thought it was just drama. So tell me, how do you think you can compete with me? A sharp pain hit Ethan's chest, but his face stayed calm. I stopped doing stupid things for a woman a long time ago. He paused. But you're right about one thing. A woman who doesn't love me is just trash I've already thrown away. Why would I pick it up again? He walked out. Under the blazing sun, his hands shook uncontrollably. He had already decided to leave. So why did it still hurt? 2 days later, his grandfather's multi-billion inheritance was fully transferred to his account. Soon, he could finally leave everything behind. On the way back, night fell. Suddenly, someone jumped from a dark alley and covered his mouth with a cloth. A sharp chemical smell hit him. Ethan lost consciousness. When he woke up, he was tied in an abandoned factory, blindfolded, ropes biting into his wrists. Cold. Dark. Suffocating. Who are you people? You can blame yourself for pissing off the wrong person. Miss Caldwell wants us to teach you a lesson. Then came punches, slaps, again and again. Ethan felt his blood run cold. It was Serena. She thought he hurt Julian, and she actually ordered this. Boss, he's done. Should we leave him here? Take him to a hospital. For 4 hours, they tortured him. He passed out multiple times, revived with cold water. At some point, he couldn't even tell if the burning was blood or water. The bright, innocent girl from his youth had become a demon blinded by love. He had lost completely. When he woke up again, hospital ceiling above him, disinfectant filling his nose. You're finally awake. You lost a lot of blood. You were unconscious a full day. From the hallway, nurses whispered. That woman is so beautiful, so caring with her husband. Yeah, just a small wrist cut and she's panicking like crazy. But room 4003 is full of injuries and no one's even come. Ethan stood up slowly, holding the rail, and walked. Through the door, he saw Serena and Leo at Julian's bedside. Leo held white mountain roses. Daddy. I picked these for you. They're the flowers of you and Mommy's love. Julian, Serena held his hand tightly, voice trembling. I already sent people to punish whoever hurt you. Don't ever do anything like that again. Ethan watched. His wife holding another man's hand. His son calling another man daddy. A perfect family. Something inside him cracked slowly. He remembered when he once collapsed from a perforated appendix after working non-stop on a company crisis. The nurse had called Serena urgently. Her response? It's just appendicitis. Not like he'll die. Why are you bothering me? Then she hung up. Now, same story. Same indifference. Ethan took out his phone and sent a voice message. Serena. We need to talk. Coffee shop. You want a divorce? She stared at him like she didn't recognize him anymore. For 4 years, he had been obedient, trained, silent. You were the one who insisted on marrying me. Being Caldwell's stay-in husband was your choice. I don't want to fight anymore, Ethan said calmly. I just want the right person. If I can't find them, I'd rather be alone. Now I'm letting you go. Be with Julian Vance. He smiled slightly. You love him so much, shouldn't he have a proper title? Serena's face twisted. Leo looked up. Daddy, why are you fighting Mommy again? Uncle Julian cooks for us. His food is better than yours. Ethan looked at him quietly. It's okay. You won't have to eat my cooking anymore, because I won't be your dad anymore. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. City Hall. Serena's phone rang. Just as he expected, she stood up and walked away to answer it. Her voice turned soft, gentle, completely different. When she came back. I have work. I'm taking Leo. CEO of Caldwell Corp living in a rental is embarrassing, she added quickly. A lie. Poorly hidden. But Ethan didn't care anymore. He just nodded. Okay. Be safe. They turned to leave. And then Ethan's voice came from behind them. Serena, Leo. They instinctively stopped and turned back to look at him. Keep walking. Don't look back. I just want to say one thing to you, goodbye. He dragged out the last word, heavy and final, but Serena didn't even catch the weight of it, like she just didn't feel it. After she left, Ethan pulled out an anonymous number and texted Julian Vance, telling him to be at City Hall at 9 a.m. the next day for a surprise. He would get everything he wanted. So would Serena and Leo. And him? He was done, he was finally getting his freedom. That night, Serena didn't sleep at all. She kept tossing and turning, staring at Leo sleeping beside her, an unexplainable anxiety eating at her inside. Next morning, the moment the sun came up, she got up and tried calling Ethan, but his phone went straight to voicemail. Then it hit her. His words, City Hall, divorce. Panic hit her hard. She rushed there, arriving way before 9 o'clock. Could he really be serious this time? Ma'am, our records show you're already divorced. The clerk's confused words hit her like lightning. Serena went blank. Already divorced. How is that even possible? I'm sorry, Miss Caldwell, but it shows you signed the divorce agreement 7 days ago. Mr. Hayes chose to leave the marriage with no assets. Property and custody all go to you. At that same time, Julian Vance was on his way, and Ethan Hayes was already on a flight to Paris. Outside the plane window, morning mist faded away as the rising sun lit up the sky clean and bright. Ethan leaned back in his first-class seat, arms crossed, eyes closed, finally relaxed. In this life, I'm never compromising myself again. From now on, Serena and Leo would just be strangers to him. Back at City Hall, Serena held the divorce papers, shaking. She checked the signature again and again. It was hers. No doubt. 7 days ago. Impossible, when did I sign this? Her mind flashed back, private suite, drunk laughter, Julian handing her a love contract. He smiled and said softly. Serena, when we were dating, we had nothing. You promised me 100 things, you still remember, right? She never imagined it, that careless signature was actually a divorce agreement Julian tricked her into signing. Ethan had already planned everything. He really left her. Just then, Julian arrived at City Hall, smiling confidently. She was here. This was the surprise. He even wore a fresh white shirt for it. Serena. He grabbed her arm, excited. I can't believe you planned this big surprise for me. And you texted me anonymously too? You're wild. Serena stared at him blankly. What text? His smile dropped. The one you sent me. He quickly showed his phone. See? Who else would send this? Serena's face darkened. I didn't send anything. A cold wave hit her. Realization snapped into place. She grabbed him by the collar, eyes ice cold. Where's Ethan? What did you do to him? Julian choked. Serena. I don't know what you're talking about. Tears formed in his eyes. I can't breathe. His expression shifted fast, hurt, then guilt. You were the one who wanted to marry me, didn't you say you were done with Ethan? Serena snapped back like a trigger went off. I never said I'd divorce him. Her grip tightened. And how do you know about it? Julian shivered. He suddenly remembered, she wasn't just a soft first love anymore. She was Serena Caldwell, cold CEO who could erase people from New York in a second. He panicked and backed off. Serena shoved him away and ran outside, calling Ethan again and again. The number you have dialed is switched off. That robotic voice felt like a knife dragging through her chest. No, this can't be happening. She kept calling. Nothing worked. Her strength drained. Her eyes went hollow. He always picks up, always. Why now? Did he really leave me? No, impossible. Ethan loved me. She grabbed her assistant. Check every airport. Every train station. Find him. Later, she collapsed, shaking. For years, Ethan had been her shadow. Always there. Always patient. Always hers. Even when she ignored him, even when she hurt him, he stayed. And now, gone? No, she whispered. He can't just leave like this. Julian stepped closer. Serena, you always said he was a cage, you said you loved me. Her eyes snapped. I never said I'd divorce him for you. Her voice turned sharp. Don't act like you own my life. Julian pulled out the love contract. You promised me 100 things. Serena froze. One by one, she read them. Movies. Sunsets. Skies. Travel. Love. Dreams. Things she never did with Ethan. But promised to someone else. Her face went pale. Enough. Her voice cut like steel. Who gave you the right to decide my marriage? Julian backed away, shaken. At that moment, Serena saw a happy couple walking past. It hit her hard. Her own wedding, no dress. No ceremony. Just paperwork. And Ethan, standing beside her, hopeful, while she turned away coldly. For 4 years, she had hated him, while he loved her silently. Now he was gone, and she was falling apart. Then. Breaking news, a private jet has crashed into the Atlantic. Serena froze. Her assistant rushed in. Ma'am. Mr. Hayes's flight, it went down. Silence. Then chaos. What did you just say? She screamed, grabbing him. Her voice broke. No, he can't. She threw the tablet against the wall. Find him. Alive. Her voice cracked completely. Get a helicopter. Coast Guard. Everything. I'm going. For 2 days, she didn't sleep, didn't eat, didn't stop searching. Praying, something she never believed in. Nothing came back. Just silence. She returned home broken. Leo ran into her crying. Mommy, where's Daddy? I can't sleep. Her heart shattered. Daddy got lost, she whispered. I'll bring him back. Leo cried harder. Did he leave us? No, she said quickly. He loves us. Even she didn't believe it fully. Later, she saw Ethan's things gone. Gone. Completely. She stood frozen. Then she saw his old family journal. She opened it. Every page, full of him. Full of love she never noticed. Camping. Ski trips. Small joys. All for her. All ignored by her. Her hands shook. He did all this, for me? Tears fell non-stop. Then she saw the last entry. 7 days ago. The story between you and me ends here. Serena broke. And far away, on a plane. Ethan pressed his hand to his chest. No pain. No attachment. Just silence. All the memories of Serena, those one-sided dreams of love, just vanished in a blink. More than a decade of unforgettable love, completely wiped clean. Mr. Hayes, I'm really sorry, but the business class on this flight is fully booked. There was a system glitch with your reservation. The flight attendant's voice pulled him straight back to reality. We apologize. We can offer you a full refund and a complimentary seat on another flight. Would that work for you? He nodded mechanically, no emotion, then turned away, dragging his carry-on like a lifeless habit. As he walked, he overheard 2 flight attendants whispering behind him. Isn't that the heir to the Hayes fortune? I heard he chased the CEO of Caldwell Corp for 3 years straight. Even gave up his family wealth just to marry into her world. And it was a forced marriage too. Everyone knows Hayes' heir has always been super proud. He didn't even slow down. No anger. No humiliation. Nothing. Even the kind of gossip that once would have shattered him now felt like it was about a stranger. His heart didn't sting anymore. The rescheduled flight was 7 hours later. After landing in Paris, he checked the news from back home and froze. The flight he was originally supposed to take, the one he had changed, had crashed into the ocean. Ethan's heart skipped hard. For a second, he just stared, numb. The universe really never stopped playing its twisted games. But strangely, he felt relief too. At least now Serena would never find him. He checked into a private wellness clinic in the 16th arrondissement. The doctor looked at him and frowned, said he was severely malnourished, like something had drained the life out of him. And he knew exactly what it was. 20 years. 2 lifetimes of unreturned love. That emotional weight had eaten him alive. Now even the illness felt like a river with no source, just emptiness. 3 months later, he enrolled at Sorbonne Business School. His blonde, blue-eyed classmates were fascinated by the guy from the East, and several even asked him out. When the Italian teaching assistant placed a rose on his desk and the whole class started cheering, he just felt irritated. He rejected everyone. Every single one. Love? Nah. He was done. Fully done. His life became calm, almost too calm. No waves. No storms. Nothing. Sometimes he would walk alone by the Seine, watching couples kiss near the riverbanks. Once, he passed a bridal shop and stopped without knowing why. Inside the window was a mermaid-style wedding gown. He stared at it for a moment too long. He once dreamed of giving the woman he loved a world-class wedding, something unforgettable. But because of her resistance, him and Serena never had it. One rainy night, returning from a checkup, Ethan got into a taxi. The driver was Chinese, radio playing softly in the background. Half asleep, Ethan suddenly heard a familiar name. Serena Caldwell, CEO of Caldwell Corp., has deployed an international search and rescue team and personally traveled to the Atlantic after her husband was on the crashed flight. His body jolted instantly. The driver noticed and turned up the volume a bit. It's reported flight LH721 crashed 2 weeks ago. The black box still hasn't been found. But Miss Caldwell refuses to accept the official report. She hasn't slept or eaten properly in weeks, neglecting the entire company. On the screen, the news shifted. Serena stood on a rescue vessel. Wind tore through her hair, messy, wild. She looked so thin she was almost unrecognizable, dark circles deep under her eyes. The proud, untouchable woman he once knew was gone. A reporter held a mic toward her. Miss Caldwell, you've been out here all this time. Have you abandoned your company completely? The moment she looked at the camera, Ethan's breath caught. Her eyes, once calm, sharp, controlled, were now bloodshot, trembling with something raw. Despair. Pure, broken despair. If I can't find Ethan, I'm not going back, she said, voice shaking. I failed him. He is my husband in this life, the next life, and every life after. He will always be my husband. Those words hit like ice in his chest. Through the screen, Ethan just stared at her. She was searching for him like a madwoman. Finally admitting love, finally letting it explode out. But it was too late. His heart felt like a dead tree, cracked, hollow, beyond revival. It would never beat for her again. Serena had lost it completely. She poured insane money into elite deep-sea rescue teams, day and night searching the crash site. She became a shadow of herself, refusing to leave the vessel. She clung to one belief: Ethan was still out there. She read his old journal over and over. Every word she once ignored now felt like it was written in blood. She remembered the childbirth hemorrhage. The doctor's serious face handing Ethan consent forms. Patient is bleeding heavily. Condition is critical. Prepare for worst-case scenario. He had fallen apart, literally dropping to his knees. Please, save my wife. She's everything to me. The doctor had calmly assured him they would try everything. But all Ethan wanted was for her to live. Even if she ended up disabled, paralyzed, he didn't care. Just alive. That was enough. He had only become her antidote that night, taking the place meant for Julian. She should never have blamed him. He didn't deserve that lifetime of pain. A life filled with suffering she created just to release her anger. When the nurse brought out the baby and said, "Congratulations, it's a boy, come on, Dad, hold your son," Ethan had cried with joy. This is my child with Serena, this is beautiful. But when Serena woke up, she looked at the baby with disgust. Like he was a mistake. Like he didn't belong. Still, when she saw the child's tiny face, something flickered in her. Serena remembered her cruelty toward Ethan, years of emotional abuse, harsh words, constant pressure. And the paparazzi scandal that twisted everything. A photo, taken wrong, linking her to another man. Instead of explaining, she snapped at him. Ethan, you think every man is like you? Pathetic, drugging and seducing women? That one sentence shattered something in him. That night, Ethan slit his wrist. The blood filled the bathtub red. If not for little Leo waking up crying and finding him, he would have died. Even after that, she never visited him. Just told staff to handle it. She genuinely believed he was just dramatic, seeking attention. Meanwhile, Julian was understanding, perfect. But when Julian attempted suicide, barely a scratch, she panicked and gave him VIP treatment. Even hired thugs to beat Ethan for revenge. And Ethan still showed up at the hospital himself, bruised and broken, only to see her and Julian together outside, smiling. She never realized Ethan's chronic stomach illness, how he carefully managed meals for over a decade just for her. Yet for Julian, she drank alcohol without hesitation. That contrast destroyed him slowly. Now Serena was breaking too. Insomnia. Stomach pain returning. Empty bottles everywhere. Regret was eating her alive. She realized the truth, she never truly loved Julian. It was obsession. Ego. Old wounds. He was just a symbol of rejection she never healed from. Back in school, Julian once broke up with her coldly. "I'm done. It was fun, but you're not wife material." He tossed her $1,000 like it meant nothing. Then Ethan came into her life later, and everything spiraled. One day, Julian returned again with fake concern. But Serena snapped. "Get out. I only have one husband, Ethan Hayes." Julian froze. Everything was falling apart. He realized Ethan was gone, and this was his chance. He tried again, softly manipulating. But Serena's eyes turned cold and sharp. She smashed a glass. "I said get out." Julian couldn't believe it. The woman who once chased him, now didn't even see him. He thought he could step in and replace Ethan. But Serena was done. She looked at him like trash. "Julian, your acting is honestly Oscar level. I know exactly what you're trying to do. Let me make this crystal clear. You will never have my husband's position. The man of this house is, and only ever will be, Ethan Hayes. Security, show him out. And from now on, he is not to set foot in this house again." The bodyguards outside the door entered at her command, grabbed Julian by each arm and dragged him out. "Get off me. Let me go, Serena. Why are you doing this to me? What did I do wrong? We love each other, why can't we be together, Serena?" Julian's voice cried out, a last-ditch attempt to evoke her pity. The dragging shouts finally faded into silence. Serena looked around the vast, lifeless villa. She went to the bar, grabbed a bottle of wine, and started chugging it. One empty bottle after another fell to the floor. Her face flushed. She leaned against the bar, the alcohol numbing her nerves. She looked at the empty air and giggled foolishly, tears streaming down her face. "Ethan," she whispered, "look at me. I'm drinking so much, why aren't you here to stop me? Usually the moment you see me drink, you put on that stern face and scold me, telling me not to mess up my stomach. How can you not be here to take care of me? If you don't, what if I really destroy myself?" Suddenly, her expression soured. She remembered in the early days, to secure her position at Caldwell Corp., to prove herself to her family and her grandfather, she had always been the heaviest drinker at business dinners. That, combined with irregular meals and sleep, led to her suddenly vomiting blood after one such dinner. It was a terrified Ethan who had rushed her to the hospital. The doctor's diagnosis was a bleeding ulcer, warning that if she didn't take care of her stomach, her risk of developing cancer would increase dramatically. So, on top of helping her with company affairs, Ethan had taken it upon himself to cook her 3 different healthy meals a day, ensuring she ate and rested on time. He even helped Leo with his homework so well that his son was always at the top of his class. He not only cared for their family with meticulous detail, but also filled their home with warmth and life. He planned different family activities and surprise celebrations for every holiday. All she ever had to do was cooperate. In her memory, Ethan had always shown her his bright side. Even after she gave birth and her emotional abuse worsened, leading to his depression and anxiety, he only became agitated and sensitive when she was caught up in tabloid rumors with other men, and she had never bothered to explain, leaving him to process the negativity and insecurity on his own. A sharp pain in her stomach made her instinctively clutch her abdomen, trying to ease the ache. It was useless, the pain only intensified. She bent over, rummaging through cabinets and drawers for her medication, but she couldn't find it. She remembered Ethan organizing the medicine cabinet, his gentle voice instructing her. "Serena, your stomach medicine and the other basic household medications are all in this box. Don't forget." She hadn't even looked up at him then. "With you here, why would I need to worry about such small things?" She clearly remembered the blissful smile on his face at her words. At the time, she didn't know why he looked so happy. She was just too lazy to pay attention, too lazy to remember such trivial details, and had brushed him off with a careless reply. Waves of pain and burning sensation washed over her. Frustrated by her fruitless search, she instinctively reached for her phone to call him, only to remember she couldn't. So she lay down on the sofa, curling into a ball, hoping to ease the discomfort. Eventually, she drifted into a restless sleep. The next morning, her assistant arrived at the villa. The house was dark, the air thick with a mixture of stale scents. He sighed softly. He pulled open the curtains, letting the sunlight stream in, and gently shook Serena awake. He showed her a video on his phone, speaking quickly, his voice filled with excitement. "Miss, look. I called, well, look." Serena kept her eyes closed, not responding. "You can't keep going on like this. I stumbled upon this video. I'm not sure, but you know, it's him." At the mention of Ethan's name, Serena's eyes snapped open. It was a viral video from a social media platform. Hashtag Paris Street Style, hashtag Met an Angel, hashtag Damn If This Is You. In just 2 hours, it had over 100,000 likes. In the video, a black Porsche Panamera was parked by the roadside. A man in a camel-colored trench coat stood beside it. His short hair moved in the wind like a dark flowing river at night. He was looking down, his dark hair falling forward, but as the dim streetlight passed over him, the sharp line of his jaw became visible. She had watched him lower his head in that gentle way for 10 years. In a fleeting moment, a bodyguard stepped forward, opened the car door, and invited the man inside. At the end of the video, as the man turned his head, Serena recognized him instantly. Her gaze trembled. That was him. Ethan. Serena began to laugh and cry at the same time, her whole body shaking with excitement. Her Ethan was alive. He had been hiding from her. She knew it, he wouldn't disappear so easily. As long as he was alive, she still had a chance to bring him back. Their family wasn't broken yet. A sudden notification pulled Serena out of her thoughts. It was a message from Julian Vance. "Serena, I'm sorry. I know you've been in a bad mood lately. You can treat me however you want, I don't care. I just hope you stop torturing yourself. Grandfather is old, don't upset him anymore. Just go along with him on small things. When the elderly are happy, the family is harmonious, right, Serena? When you're feeling better, please go home and see your grandfather. Sit down and talk things through. A family shouldn't have grudges." Serena frowned, her eyes filled with disgust. He was still dreaming of becoming her husband. The moonlight she had yearned for in her youth had turned out to be nothing but a cheap illusion once she finally held it. He had never been the pure white moonlight of her heart. When her assistant told her he had found evidence of Julian repeatedly provoking Ethan, the last vestiges of her reason and old feelings for him burned to ash. Fine. She would grant him his wish. Before she went to find Ethan, she would give Julian Vance a grand gift. Serena returned to the old Caldwell estate. Her grandfather, reading the newspaper, saw her and angrily threw it on the table, slamming his cane on the floor. "What are you doing back here? Did you come to see if you've managed to anger this old man to death yet?" Serena softened her tone, speaking with detached calm. "Grandfather, I've thought about what you said. I agree to marry Julian Vance." The old man froze. "Really?" Serena didn't respond. Her silence was confirmation. Julian, carrying a bowl of washed fruit, appeared, his eyes lighting up. He had overheard everything. I didn't expect you to agree," he said in disbelief. Serena only nodded faintly. "I will follow your arrangements, grandfather." Julian was overjoyed, grabbing her arm excitedly. "This is wonderful, Serena. I thought we'd lost our chance, but we still get to spend our lives together. The old man smiled in satisfaction. A perfect match. Serena with a smart man like Julian, Caldwell Corp will thrive. Serena quietly pulled her hand away, not looking at him. The wedding is in 3 days at the Historic Grand. Prepare accordingly. Grandfather, you may attend if you wish. Julian smiled warmly. Of course family will be there. A wedding is important. The old man nodded. It must be a grand affair. I understand, Serena said flatly. I'll handle everything. She turned and left. On the day of the wedding, the Atoria Grand was filled with elites, business magnates, political figures, all invited guests. Julian stood in the back room, admiring his tux in the mirror. Wow, Miss Caldwell really knows how to pick a suit, his best man Matt said. Julian smirked. Of course. Serena knows me best. Matt laughed. Man, you're lucky. Not just suits, she picked the perfect husband too. Julian looked at his reflection smugly. Fate gave us a second chance. A bodyguard entered. Mr. Vance, please follow us to the ceremony. Matt grinned. She can't wait. Let's go. But when Julian saw the 6 stone-faced bodyguards, something felt off. Where's Serena? He asked. The bodyguard replied calmly. Miss Caldwell gave no further instructions. Only that we ensure your safety. Guests whispered excitedly, showering him with praise. Congratulations, Mr. Vance. You're practically Mr. Caldwell now. Julian basked in it. But something felt wrong. Then, the grand doors burst open. Wind and rain swept in, extinguishing the candles. 6 bodyguards pushed a golden wheelchair down the aisle. Julian froze. In the chair sat a 70-year-old man, white-haired, drooling slightly, eyes glazed yet leering. A urine bag was faintly visible beneath his tuxedo. The officiant announced. Let us welcome the groom, Mr. Preston Caldwell. Julian's blood ran cold. Preston Caldwell, Serena's disabled second uncle, who had already outlived 3 wives. The guests erupted in confusion. What's going on? Did the officiant mess up? Why are there 2 grooms? When Preston saw Julian, his eyes lit up with a predatory green glow, and he couldn't stop drooling. He slurred, Julian, you look so handsome today. I'm not up to much right now, so you'll have to do the work on our wedding night. Julian's pupils shrank in pure terror. He finally understood what the old man meant. He turned to run, but his father and the bodyguards grabbed him, holding him tight. Panic hit him hard. Dad, what are you doing? Let go. I'm getting out of here. I'm not going through with this. His father smiled kindly, but his words sent a chill down Julian's spine. Julian, your mission is to continue the Vance family's legacy. It's time for you to repay the family for raising you. Serena, dressed in a sharp power suit, stepped out from the side and took the microphone. Welcome everyone to the wedding of Mr. Julian Vance and my second uncle, Mr. Preston Caldwell. The crowd exploded in shock, unable to believe it. What is Miss Caldwell saying? Isn't this her wedding with Julian Vance? Don't jump to conclusions. Preston Caldwell is a powerful man in the family, known for unusual tastes. His fortune is massive. He may be old, but I heard the important parts still work. They'll still have a life together. Yeah, a man is a boy until the day he dies. Old Preston is still active. The whispers hit Julian like knives. His legs went weak. He shook his head desperately. No. I won't marry into this family. I won't be some boy toy for a dying old man. Serena, you can't do this to me. At the words dying old man, Preston's creepy smile faded, replaced by something dark and sinister. He looked Julian up and down without hiding it anymore. Serena's smile didn't break. Marriage is serious and decided by parents. A man of your position should understand that, Julian. Especially someone from your background. You don't get a choice. Julian's father tightened his grip on his arm and added calmly, Miss Caldwell is right. Your marriage to Mr. Caldwell has already been agreed upon by both families. All legal papers are done. He patted Julian's hand. Julian, for the future of our family, you will marry into the Caldwells and serve Mr. Preston. This is the best outcome. Understand? Julian realized it, he had been sold out to save the family. He shook his head like a child, tears flooding his eyes. Dad, please. Anyone but a dying old man. I'll marry whoever you want, I'll behave, I swear. I just can't spend my life with an invalid. His voice broke. Please, Dad. His father's face hardened. It's all the same. Times have changed. What's wrong with Mr. Caldwell? This is your fate. Accept it. Julian cried, voice hoarse. It's not the same, at least find me a woman. Serena's voice cut in coldly. Now, will the grooms please exchange rings? Bodyguards held Julian down as his father pulled out a ring and forced it onto his finger, matching Preston's. Julian struggled, trying to pull it off. Crack. A sharp slap echoed through the hall. His head snapped sideways. Insolent son. His father had hit him so hard a red handprint instantly swelled on his cheek. Blood slipped from his split lip. His ears rang, mind going blank. Pain snapped him back. Suddenly, Julian lunged toward Serena, grabbing her hands, crying. Serena. I'm sorry. It was all my fault. I was jealous of your love for Ethan. I was bitter I lost you. I did everything because I love you. I was wrong. I shouldn't have forced Ethan to divorce you. I shouldn't have helped him trick you into signing those papers. Please save me. I don't want to be a nursemaid to a crippled old man. Serena shoved him away violently. He fell hard to the floor. Julian, didn't you always want to be Mr. Caldwell? She said coldly. I'm just giving you your wish. And from now on, I'll have to call you my aunt. That's an honor most men can only dream of. You should be happy. Julian shook his head frantically, makeup smeared with tears, crawling back to her feet. Serena, please. Call off this ridiculous wedding. Do whatever you want with my family, just let me go. I only did it because I loved you. I wanted to replace Ethan and become your husband. Please, I swear I'll stay away forever. Serena pulled her foot back, eyes icy with hatred. Because of your scheming, I lost my husband. This wedding is just a small down payment on the interest you owe him. Julian collapsed, completely broken. Serena turned away. Let's congratulate the happy couple. May they enjoy a long and prosperous union. Preston mumbled something unclear. Serena glanced at him. Seems my uncle can't wait. Tonight, you'll consummate the marriage. The guests clapped, thunderous but awkward, silent tension everywhere. Everyone realized how ruthless Serena Caldwell really was. Take them to my uncle's home, she ordered. Everyone else, eat and enjoy. Don't let this ruin the party. Bodyguards dragged Julian away. No, Serena. Please. I'm sorry. I was wrong. His screams faded into the distance. Suddenly, one of her grandfather's staff rushed in. Miss Caldwell. It's a disaster. A critical data leak from Mr. Vance when he was your assistant, rival company planted a virus. Our capital chain is broken. If we don't get funding, we're bankrupt. The chairman collapsed from shock. Miss Caldwell, you need to come back immediately. The man panicked, but Serena didn't even react. She calmly wiped her nails with a napkin. Did you record everything? Yes, Miss Caldwell. Full record of Mr. Vance's downfall. Good. Her voice was calm, almost satisfied. Arrange a private jet to Paris. Nothing else mattered. Only one thought burned in her mind, Ethan. Ethan Hayes never expected to see Serena Caldwell again. He once loved her obsessively. To him, she was a rare crane in snow, beautiful, untouchable. She never even looked at him. Now she stood there, messy and shaken, searching for him. Their eyes met. Serena's filled with shock, then joy. Ethan. I've been looking everywhere for you. She stepped forward to hug him. Ethan stepped back. She froze. He clearly didn't want her touch. Trembling, Serena pulled out a folded paper. A childish crayon drawing, 3 stick figures under a rainbow, holding hands. Me and Mommy and Daddy. Leo drew it, she said, voice breaking. He waits for you every day, he misses you. I miss you too. But Ethan just laughed coldly. That man in the drawing. I never wear tracksuits. That's Julian Vance, right? Serena went stiff. She had never even noticed the drawings properly. Ethan's voice turned sharp. So that's your real family. Now that I'm gone, you should be happy with him and your son, right? Ethan, it's not like that, she panicked. I only realized after you left. I can't live without you. Every second is torture. I was wrong. I love you, it's always been you. And Leo only has one father. Ethan looked at her, calm but crushing. Tell me, which home? The one where you and Leo abandoned me for Julian Vance? Or the one where you had me beaten in an abandoned factory and watched me crawl away in blood? Serena froze. 17 years. 29,200 nights, Ethan said quietly. Every night I thought maybe tomorrow you'd come back. But you carved that hope out of me, piece by piece. He shook his head. It's gone. Everything's gone. Serena lunged. Ethan, please. I sold everything. I turned the world upside down looking for you. I don't want anything, just you. Tears finally fell. But then a woman appeared, blonde, calm. Ethan, she said softly, holding his hand. Is she bothering you? Ethan looked at her, then gently pulled her close. It's fine, Wendy. He turned back to Serena. Miss Caldwell, go home. There's nothing left. He walked away without another glance. Serena stood frozen, hands still in the air, then collapsed. She finally understood. What's lost is gone forever. Months later. Ethan sat in a cafe by the window. A newspaper was cleared away. A small headline caught his eye. Caldwell Corp bankrupt. Another line. Serena Caldwell hospitalized with terminal cancer. Son placed under child protection due to neglect. He paused. Memories flickered, pain, screams, hospital beeps. But they felt distant now, like fog behind glass. No pain. No anger. Just silence. Outside, the sun shone bright. The river kept flowing.